Okay, record.
Hello, my name is Shariza. Assalamualaikum. And this evening I'm going to talk about effective communication. First of all, what is effective communication? Or rather, what is communication? Communication is a message, or rather thoughts, being sent out to the receiver. It is something like message, thoughts, opinions, or information that you want to give to other people. That is what communication is. Okay, and after that we were going to look what are the reasons that communication went wrong. There are few reasons why communication went wrong, and I will list down few of the reasons why. The first reason being this is the first reason why communication went wrong. Not clear. The message is not clear. Simply meaning that whatever you want to say out is not very clear. It's difficult for people to perceive what you are saying. Okay, the second reason is wrong choices of words. You know, sometimes we want to say some things and we do not want to make it simple. We usually use very difficult choice of words to get our message out. So this is what it means, wrong choices of words. We have to know who is our receiver. If our receiver does not understand very clearly, you have to speak to their tone or to their level. How is the best way to communicate to them? What are the best choices of words to communicate to them? Okay, and the third one being simply lack of feedback. Lack of feedback is also from the sender and receiver. The receiver sometimes does not want to ask the receiver, do you understand what I'm trying to say? And even most of the time the receiver does not want to ask the questions back to the sender, probably because of shy or some other reasons perhaps. Okay? Wrong channel of communication. The choices of words we use are not the channel of communication is not the right channel. Right? This is very simple to understand. Not listening enough. Not listening enough meaning that we do not want to listen clearly of what the sender is telling us, or rather what the sender is talking about. Our mind normally wanders here and there, and that is why we do not listen enough and we do not gauge what the sender is telling us. Okay, these are some of the reasons why communication went wrong. Okay, and before we go on to the effective steps or effective techniques for effective communication, now I have to ask you, what is the number one rule for effective communication? Okay, all right. The number one rule to have effective communication is intention. What is your intention? What is your intention that the message that you want to cross? You want it to talk about. So once your intention is clear, then you know why, how, what, when, how to relate your message to the receiver. Okay, based on the survey that I did, I have listed out the report findings. Report findings based on verbal communication, non-verbal communication, active listening, and responding. It is quite alarming, yeah, to see that verbal communication, it falls on often. Okay, they prefer verbal communication, which is 75%, and non-verbal communication is also often 60%. So comparing verbal communication and non-verbal communication, they prefer verbal communication instead of non-verbal communication. And active listening, this is why I said just now, not listening enough, one of the reasons. You think based on the results, the result shows sometimes, which is 80%. So it is quite bad. Only 80% of, sometimes meaning it's quite bad, 80%. And the last one is responding, and the reason is also sometimes, which is only 60%. 60%, that means they're not responding to what being communicated to them. Okay, and now we're going to go through the 4 techniques of effective communication. What are the 4 techniques of effective communication? And before I go on, there is a saying that communication comes naturally, but effective communication does not. That means you have to learn how to communicate effectively. Alright, the first one is, what are the techniques? The first technique is listen actively. Listen actively goes to verbal communication. What should we do? What should we do to listen actively for verbal communication? We have to open our mind. First and foremost, our mind must be clear, not to be so clogged up with so many things in order to get what the message is being communicated. The second one is, do not form any opinions. Meaning that you just listen. Just listen what the sender is trying to tell you. Just accept. Just listen to what the communication is all about. Okay. Next one is restating of what has been said. If you're not clear of what is the sender is trying to tell you, you have to ask questions to the sender. Sorry, can you repeat that again? Or something like that. I'm not so sure. Did I hear this correctly? Alright, so that is listen actively. And last but not least, you have to do mental notes. You have to take the important points or important communication or important words from the sender, and you do it mentally. Mental notes. That means you just capture what are the important things that the sender is trying to tell you and do it mental notes inside your brain. The next one is listen actively. Listen actively. This goes to non-verbal communication. That means your body posture. How is your body posture? What is your body language is trying to tell you? Are you being very, very rigid, or are you being very open? Very open meaning that you want to listen actively. Your facial expression is saying that you are so eager and you want to listen to what the sender is trying to tell. And you are leaning forward to hear what the sender is trying to tell, and you capture all the words being communicated to you. Sometimes people are so rigid and agitated, they tend to shake their leg. That shows that the body language is trying to tell you that they're not interested in what being communicated. Okay, that is the second technique for effective communication. The third technique is open and honest in communicating. This goes back, it relates back to what is your intention of communicating. Your intention must be very clear. Once your intention is very clear of what you want to say to the receiver, so you have no problem in open and honest communication. Speak clearly of your thoughts. Speak clearly of your opinions. Speak clearly of what you want to share. Speak clearly of the information that you want to give out to the receiver. Mumbling or being too quiet does not help at all in this effective communication. When someone mumbles, people will go, what are you saying? So it does not help in effective communication. Last but not least is communicating without conflict, meaning that you are not judgmental of what the receiver is telling you. Okay, normally we assume things without getting further clarification. This is also, you have to ask questions. Ask questions to get further clarification, so that you don't assume that what the sender is telling, probably the sender is telling something else, but in actual fact that the sender is telling something else. So we don't be too judgmental on what the sender is trying to tell. And that is my presentation for effective communication. I've made it very simple for my audience to understand. I hope you enjoy my presentation, and I hope you enjoy and you get what I'm trying to say of the 4 techniques for the effective communication. Thank you.